Hey guys, Zero here again with another War Game Wednesday. And today we're taking a look at a new game I picked up. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to take a look. It's called World of Tanks miniature game, and it's a skirmish game with little tanks. So alright, let's get this guy over to the table. Let's crack it open and see what comes inside. Sit tight. We are. This is the World of Tanks miniature game. And so, like I said, it's a tabletop skirmish game where each player takes control of one of these tanks, or both, or two, or because it's a 1 to 2 player, or 2 plus player game actually is what it is. And you basically take control of the tank, and you do like scenarios, or you could do like just a pitch battle or whatever. Let's take a look at what's inside this box. Okay, here's everything that comes in the box, and we'll separate all this. So in the tray, you get your 4 tanks. You get your tank stat cards. You get your critical damage cards. You get your set of standard dice. And you get your optional equipment, crew, or upgrade cards. That's these guys here. We'll take a closer look at each one of those. Alright, so here are the cards that you get to use in the game. And there's 2 types. There's actually a bunch, but there's 2 major types of cards. One is the critical damage card pile, and the other is the crew, upgrade, and options pile. Now they're distinct for major reasons. When your tank takes damage in the game, you have to, if a critical hit is rolled, and I'll show you guys that on the dice in a second, you have to pull one of these cards, and they're usually face down. You just pull it at random, and then you have to do what it tells you to do. So this one is like engine damage. The tank can only make 1 move per turn. Now there's also a damage marker there, so the tank will also take 2 points of damage. This little symbol here, this is not on all the cards, but some of the cards, it kind of shows you that this can be repairable. So, one of the phases will allow you to try and repair that damage. Then you've got your upgrade cards. Some of them have these little light bulbs on it, which means when you use this card, when you get this card, you have to play it face up at the beginning of the turn. Okay, so that everybody can see what you have. And this one's like improved turret, costs 2 points, and it says tanked without assault gun, and that's a specific type of tank. And it says you get +1 defense during the shooting phase, or yeah, I think that's +1 defense. Then your standard card looks like this. So when you start your game, you play this face down, and that's the point cost there, and it'll show you right there. And this is a special card specifically for the American force. You see that flag there, will show you that. It gives you your special rules and what this card actually provides, and also where this card, says the commander, shows where this card is placed on your tank. So it's pretty cool. Alright, so here are the standard dice you use for the game, and they're basic 6-sided dice, but these dice have different markers on it. So this here is a critical hit, this is a standard hit, and then you have a miss. So on these dice you have 3 misses, you have 2 hits, and then you have 1 critical. So it's pretty simple, it's pretty basic. Now, when I purchased this game, I bought it online, I bought it on eBay, so it was used. It was labeled as used, but the description said that the box was open to check content, but never used. So it was pretty interesting. He also sent me special sets of dice that were put out later on for each faction. So they're custom dice. So this is the American dice. Same numbers. It's just got like a olive drab green, and then it's got the American star on there. And it also came, each one of these dice set came with a decal sheet for your tank, or tanks, or whatever, if you wanted to decorate your tanks. got an eagle there. It's pretty cool. And obviously the flags. So this is pretty cool. Then, I thought that was cool, but he actually offered or threw in all 4 sets of custom dice. So I've got the British dice here as well. You see the flag there. So that's the critical. You got your misses and you got your hits. And the British dice also came with a decal sheet. Well, they all did. It's weird because they've got this American symbol and this star in here too. I think that's probably like for the fireflies. Very cool. And then we've got the Russians. Nice big red star there. And we have their decal sheet. I like how some of them have the playing cards there, and then the club symbol. That's pretty cool. And last but not least, the Germans. It's got a nice gray. And their decal sheet as well. You know, the German flag there, Nazi flag, and then you've got your ace cards. I love it. Tiger. Okay, we also get 2 cardstock sheets with different features on them. Look at that. Pops right out. So this one has some scenery, which is the woods, and then you've got the buildings, and you've got some damage markers. You also have the movement marker, which is one of the most used things in the game. This side has, oops, sorry about that. This side has a building, damage trackers, movement trackers, walls, a hill, and on the opposite side it's woods, you know. And then you've got your damage points to track your hits and things like that, and you've also got markers to show which tank moves first if you want to do that. And you've also got objective markers here that are, let's see, different on the other side depending on who's using them. Okay, here we have the rule book, which is pretty, it looks big, but it's not. It's actually really small. It's only 23 pages. I pretty much read this in a couple hours. And then I took some breaks because I was doing stuff or whatever, but very simple, very easy to understand. I mean, this is a straight up like pick up and go game. My friends and I, my buddy Zippy used to say, these are beer and pretzel games, you know, because there's no real prep for this type of game. You get your stuff. What comes in the box is what you use. You know what I mean? You don't have to go any further if you don't want to. Most of us wargamers, we will, but you don't have to. And it's a pretty straightforward game. They say it should only last. We've got some really cool, like, color diagrams to show you whatever the rules are talking about. There's really cool diagrams to kind of give you a good description of what's happening. Breaks down everything you need, everything you have, and then there's a quick reference sheet at the back. But yeah, it's a pretty cool book. I mean, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. On the last piece of document you get in this, which is pretty cool, I think it's cool. I mean, I don't know, but if you play World of Tanks online, the actual video game, it comes with instructions on how to redeem codes that are on this piece of paper, and also on the expansion set tanks. You know, I'll show you guys that in a minute. There comes with a redemption code to either have that tank in your game, or, you know, to have these basic tanks start when you start your game. I think it's really, really cool that they offer that. And on here we have the collector's sheet, you know what I mean? Like, so this will tell you, like, you know, what tanks you started with or whatever, you know, like wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4. And I believe wave 4 is we're still waiting to get it here in the States. I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen some videos on the waves, but the wave 4 is still not here. So I can't get my Tiger or my Pershing, you know. But you guys let me know. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a good number. This is a good number of tanks if you if you really want to get into this game. And the thing to this game is it's produced by Galeforcenine, and originally this game was released years ago under the name Tanks. It was that's it. The name was just called Tanks, and they had all these already out. These were already out, but they were in model kit form. So you basically got a sprue with this on there, and you basically just clipped it, put it together. And some of the tanks came with little extra biddies and stuff. You could, gribblies you can put on there, like luggage or stowage and extra tank tracks and things like that. So it was a pretty detailed game, but it was very like, involved as far as modeling goes. So what they did was they actually put the models together for you and base coated the models in some sort of primer. Like this is actually primed, whereas the original ones didn't come primed. They actually just came bare plastic. These are actually primed so that you can just throw paint right on top of them. And so I think it's pretty cool that, I mean, I would personally like it if I could build the model myself, because then I can add whatever I wanted to. And I believe like some of the Shermans came with like different gun options, but this is actually pretty cool because all I gotta do is throw paint on it. And I don't even have to throw paint on it if I don't want to, honestly, because like I said, it's a beer and pretzels game. So it's basically up to you, how far you want to go with what you do with this. All right, so last but not least, here we have the tanks. First one here is the British Cromwell. And then I wasn't a fan of this tank, but it is very cool. It's got a lot of detail for a little 1/100 scale tank. So that's the thing. These are 1/100 scale or 15 millimeter, depending on where you're at. It's kind of interesting. It's got this big old space here. I'm sure that's the exhaust, but I don't know if I want to find out if that's what it looks like. It's got some pretty good detail, and you can tell that they're painted. This one's a little tight, and I'll show you guys in one of the other ones. And here is the stat card for the Cromwell, and you can see there's the nationality flag. Then you've got your point costs, your size, medium tank, and the type, power, which is like what you roll for attack, durability, which is how many dice you roll for defense, and you've got mobility, which is how many movements it actually uses with that movement stick, and initiative, which is how fast it moves. And in this game, like, the higher the initiative, like when you're moving, when you do the movement phase, the higher the initiative, that tank moves first. But then when it comes to the shooting phase, the higher the initiative, that tank shoots last. If I think that's what it is. It might be reversed. Then you've got your hit points. So you've got a lot of hit points. This is your crew spots where you can actually place your crew cards and your upgrade cards. And on the back, they've got special rules for your medium tank. When shooting this tank may reroll a blank attack dice. So you can reroll one blank. Then you've got your cool little history here on the Cromwell. And then your World of Tank logo. Now we have the Sherman M1. Is it an M1? Yeah. No, M4A1. I apologize. M4A1 Sherman. Pretty detailed for a little kit. And you can tell, this one you can't see it, but the green is different. The actual plastic green is different from the primer. And this primer has a little bit of a texture to it. Some people complain about it, but I think that's actually pretty good because the tank armor back then was not smooth, So, and there's your Sherman card. Not a lot of hit points. Full crew, though. And your special abilities. It's a medium tank, so it has the same special abilities, which is nice. A lot of the special rules in this game are universal. So it isn't like, so far as I know, one nationality has a special rule for their tanks specifically. It's just there's 5 types of tanks, and each type of those tanks have their own set of special rules. All right, here we have the Russian T-34. Interesting, it's got like detail here on the treads, you see, but then when it goes to the bottom, they removed it, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like saving time and money. You're not going to see the bottom of them. You know what's funny? You can see here, this is the primer color. That's the base color there, so they must have missed a spot there. And you can see the original color there. Kind of cool. And all the tanks rotate, or their turrets. The tanks that have turrets can rotate. Here we have the Russian card, medium tank. There's your point cost, 40 points. Small amount of hit points as well. I always thought the T-34s were bigger, but or classified as bigger, but I guess not. Now, last but not least, for the main box set is the Panzer IV Aus H. I hope I said that right. This is pretty cool. It's got the armor, side armor. It's got the zebra coating. I think the Tiger has it too. It's that huge gun. And it's cool because you can take the turret off once the tank is destroyed, just to show it's destroyed, if you wanted to. 35 points, wow. Not a lot of hit points. And survivability is kind of but I mean, this is just one part of the defense. Like, this is how many defense dice you roll just by this card. But like, when you start adding up like the situations that you're in, like how fast you moved, whether you're behind cover or not, whether the opponent has moved, it all changes your defenses, which is really, really a cool system. There we go. All right, so when I purchased this box set, as I said before, I got it on eBay. The guy said it was used but unopened, which when I opened up the original box, by the way, the cards were all still in their wrappers and all that stuff. It was really cool. I'm so surprised that I got I basically bought all this stuff, the box set, those extra dice and stickers, and these 4 extra tanks for $40 for the cost of the standard box set when you buy it brand new. I couldn't pass the deal up. So needless to say, just here we are. I'm playing a miniature tank game. But here's the 4 first wave 1 tanks. These are the expansions. Now, you can get the other original tanks in expansions as well. So you can actually get the Sherman and the Cromwell and the T-34. You can buy those again separate, so you don't have to buy this box set individually. You know what I mean? Would also, in my opinion, if you're going to buy them separately, you might as well just buy another box set, because the cost of these tanks individually, you're going to pay for the same. You're going to get all the same stuff. You know what I mean? Minus all the tokens and dice and stuff. But anyway, here we go. These are the 4 tanks. We've got the Valentine, the what is this? The SU-100, the M3 Lee, and the Stug 3. And we'll take a look at these individually. Okay, so I just wanted to show this really quick. So you get this with the booster pack. You know, you get your tank information. You get some cards that go with the tank. They're upgrade tanks. They don't actually go specifically for this tank, but they're for the British Army and like generic cards as well. So they're just more booster cards to add to the set. This here is the instructions. Hang on one sec. You open this up, and here are your instructions to redeem this tank in the World of Tanks game. It's very cool. Here's the tank. And Valentine's kind of a small tank. I want to say it's a light tank. Let's see real quick. Yep, light tank. Pretty cool. I like the off tan or dark tan that they use for the British tanks. I kind of like it because you could probably like, you could get away with like washing, giving these guys a wash or like a pin wash, and then, you know, adding in like weathering detail and stuff like that, and you should be done pretty quick. A little smoke launcher there. Here we have its card. It's got arrow shot and fortress. Really? That's interesting. These are special rules. Arrow shot is like you can change a critical to a regular hit, and this is allows any tank, if it gets hit on the side, you don't reduce the defense dice, which is really cool because look, it's got like really low armor, very few crew. Very cool. Next up, we have the Russian Su-100. Now I need to show you guys what's in there. This is a tank destroyer. Look at the size of that gun. Very detailed little kit. Tank destroyer, yeah. Assault gun and light flank. So this assault gun, it'll tell you the rules on the back of the card, but assault gun is like, it only can shoot in a straight line forward, which makes sense. Next up, we have the American M3 Lee. That's a cool little tank, old school. It's got all the rivets and stuff. The turret moves, and it's got another little gun on top of that turret. And then it's got an individual gun here that actually rotates. Pretty cool. And a shovel there. And we have the card. It's an assault gun. And that's interesting. It's interesting that it has a rotating little gun in front. The top turret rotates, but it's a fixed position gun. All right, and last but not least, we have the Stug 3 House G. A lot of people like this tank. It's got the Panzer armor on the side. And all these raised details, just very cool, very detailed. You got the detail on the road wheels, like you can do the tires and stuff, or the rubber on the road wheels. And then very cool. All right, so here we are. That is the World of Tanks miniatures game. Pretty cool game. You get a lot in just one box, and I mean it's actually really good if you're just looking for a quick beer and pretzels game. You know what I mean? Something real simple, real basic, easy to learn, easy to manage. You know, you can go as far as you want. You can customize your tanks, detail them up, you know, super paint jobs, whatever, you know, or you can leave them as they are, and it's totally your call. You know, you can get expansions if you want. You can double up on the same tank if you like it a lot. Either way, I think it's a really great game for a great price. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I can't wait to play this game, and I got a buddy of mine who's waiting. We're gonna set up some games and play. I don't know if I'll do a battle reports. Maybe I will, but we're gonna test it out first and see if it's worth further investment. Like if it's worth me going all out and getting scenery and, you know, all the waves for the tanks, and you know what I mean. We'll see where we go from there. All right, guys. As always, like, subscribe, share, and thank you for watching.